Welcome back, people.
Welcome to the third episode of the
Third episode of season 2. How's everybody doing? Let's give a shout out to whoever is in France and listening. There's 4 of you apparently. Whoever is in Moldova. Hey, what's up? Vietnam. We got 1 person listening in Vietnam. And then we got 2 people in Australia listening. So,
good day, mate.
What's up, people? I don't know a thing about Moldova.
I didn't know it was I don't know.
You know where?
I never heard the word Moldova until you said, "Hey, man, we got a listener in Moldova. 2 of them."
Yeah, they're
husband and wife, probably.
Yeah, they're in.
There can't be 2 random ass people in Moldova.
They're in close to that Russian line there. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know a damn thing about it. Your phone's trying to look it up for us though.
Yeah, we got a man. This phone. Tell you about my evening later on, but man, I've made the rounds from Cookeville to North Springs to Hermitage Springs to Salina back to Hermitage Springs, all for cell phone service so we can have this interview tonight. My phone crashed. I miss the good old days. Sometimes I'm really happy with our technology, and don't get me wrong, I can't live without an iPhone now that we've had it in our life for so many years. But man, I tell you what, Apple's got us all by the balls, don't they?
Oh my goodness. Apple computer, Apple iPhone, Apple laptop.
They do, man.
I mean, this Huawei from China, if they have their way to say about it, I mean, they'll get some of that business. Samsung is the number 1 largest supplier of electronics in the world. Huawei from China is now the number 2. They've surpassed Apple.
Never even heard of that.
Yeah, they're a big group.
Samsung takes the best pictures. I've seen people with Samsung cameras that takes phenomenal photos, but I'm an Apple guy. But I tell you what, I miss the. You could beat the hell out of those old phones, man. I threw one of those razors out of my car window one time.
Went back and picked it up.
Yeah, it was pretty stupid. I was mad. It was a heated exchange in my life, and I didn't want to answer the damn phone, so I threw it out the window, and it bounced.
You don't have to answer them. You don't have to answer them.
No, I probably, like hindsight 2020, probably could just put that over in the passenger seat and turn the radio up.
Yeah,
I said,
just ignore the shit out of that.
I threw it down going from Livingston to Gainesboro. I thought, boy, that was pretty damn dumb. So I turned around but you know what? I popped the battery back in and it worked.
Oh yeah.
But last night I'm at 7% going to bed and I hook it up and nothing works. It just completely shuts off. Just completely shut off. I tried 3 different chargers. I went all day at work. I'm thinking, oh crap, we got a pretty cool interview tonight. I probably need to get that going. So shout out to Curtis Rich for not making me spend $300 on a new cell phone. And you know how they said you only owe like $60 on your phone. I said, yeah, I'll pay that off. Plus, what will it cost me? Well, it would be another $64 in fees plus $225 to put a down payment on a new phone. I said, oh, well, that's a little more than I anticipated. I said, hey, my wife just sent me a coupon you guys got out for $10. If you open a new line, you get $10 for an iPhone 8.
Yeah.
And I said, so what?
Let me get on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I said, what's the grand total going to be for that? And they said, well, $64 to pay your phone off, then you'll get the $10 charge to get the phone for opening a new line. Then you'll have to pay $64 in taxes and $225 down payment that'll actually come off as a credit. And I said, what the hell? No, I'm coming out $10 more dollars in the hole on that. So thank you, Curtis, for this other phone, just like my other one.
You got a coupon to give them $10 extra is what
that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
They're gonna get their damn extra.
Damn $10. Just because I needed to know, Moldova is right beside the Ukraine and right above Romania, so I guarantee you that person don't understand a damn word we're saying. This cat don't know anything we're saying, but we're proud to have you.
Well, we're about ready to, kind of odd for us to do it this way. Generally, we'll ramble, and for anybody new to the show, and I'm sure we'll have new listeners. You always got to,
You always got a new one.
Just in case
somebody in Thailand
don't want to go back and listen. Yeah, for all of our listeners in Moldova and probably in Texas and everywhere else that I'd imagine will pick up this episode.
I'd say Texas will be a good one on this one.
My name's Dustin, and my partner here is Lucas.
That's
and we're
me.
Just 2 regular cats here in the middle of nowhere in Tennessee. We talk sometimes sports. We like to play. We like to interview really good real country musicians.
Yeah.
And we ramble about our life. Last week,
a lot of it.
I talked about how my wife buys generic cookies and is a tightwad, and thank God she didn't listen to that. Yeah. But that's the kind of deal that we got. We're the One Lane Road Podcast. You can follow our Facebook page and our Instagram. It's all either under One Lane Road Podcast or at OLR Podcast. And Lucas is very anti-social media.
Yeah. So don't look for me on there because I am not on there.
He's not, but I am, and I'll do most of our pages. And I am a DRE Kennedy _83 on Twitter, Dustin Kennedy on Facebook, and Instagram, I think DRE Kennedy 83. It's a real bitch doing 2 social media pages for every one of them.
I would suggest to everyone, go ahead and deleting social media. Just go ahead and get rid of that.
But it's pretty vital for shows like this. Like it's pretty,
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
You kind of need social media to talk about this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I guess.
So. And if you follow me if you friend request me on Facebook, let me know kind of that it's because of the podcast. Because I probably want to add you if not. Because I get a lot of random weird requests, and we all have scammers. So
why would Texas be interested in our guest tonight?
So we have Jason Eady, return guest.
Jason Eady.
He's one of the best, man. Big fan of Jason Eady for several years. All kinds of that reaction, but yeah, man, he was a guest on our first time around. One of the best guests, one of the most enjoyable interviews that we had. And, so we're going to give him a call. He's on the road, so this is a big deal. I talked to him earlier today. I think he said he was going from Salt Lake City to Boise.
I put on why I left Atlanta on a loop today just to get ready for this show.
Well, he's got a new album coming out. And that's what we're here to talk about. He's got the new album. We're recording it. Today's Wednesday the 8th, and 2 more days. I Travel On will be coming out and released. So we're going to go ahead and give Jason a call now. Welcome back to the show, guys. And now we're going to be joined by Jason Eady. He's out on the road with us tonight. He's got a show later on tonight. So, Jason, welcome to the show. How are you tonight, my man?
Thanks, man. Thank you. Thanks for having me on again.
Well, where about you at tonight? Tell us where you're traveling to.
I'm up in Boise, Idaho.
Wow.
Play a show up here tonight, and then tomorrow we head over to the Braun Brothers Reunion Festival over in Chalice, Idaho, and then we're there for 3 days. We play on Friday, but we're going to hang out all 3 days. And then we continue on. We're doing kind of a northwest up through Montana and then over to Seattle and down the west coast. So we've got a busy month.
That sounds like a nice ride. Boy, they say Idaho is beautiful.
It's beautiful. Yeah, it's very beautiful. I think from what I've heard, they don't want anybody repeating that because they're trying to keep everybody out.
Yeah, I don't blame them there.
Yeah, but it's it's beautiful. It really is. Every part of the state's pretty incredible.
Well, anybody that follows your social media and probably my social media, because I try to do a heck of a job of putting you guys out there between you and Justin Wells and a lot of other guys.
Yeah.
I reshare and retweet everything I can to you guys. But man, there was a pretty cool video you posted the other day of you and your band playing OD'd in Denver on top of mountaintop somewhere. Where was that at?
That was just north of Denver. We're doing something on this run. The new record is called I Travel On, and so we're doing a little I Travel On video series where if we're somewhere where there's a song that matches the place, we're gonna stop and do a little video like that in a cool setting. And so we did one about a week ago on Raton Pass in New Mexico, and we did a Tom Van Zandt song that's snowing on Raton, and then we did OD in Denver. Stuff that, as soon as you go up that mountain on I-70 overlooking the city, we got up there and found a spot and did a song. And we probably got 4 or 5 more planned on this run. So yeah, they're fun. We just pull over and we're an acoustic band anyway. That's all we do. Nobody plays dance or anything. It's all acoustic instruments. So we just grab our instruments and go sit somewhere and play a song and head on down the road.
Yeah, it looked like you guys were having a real good time sitting up there, and I'm glad you guys just performed the song because I think Hank Jr. used to kind of live those songs back in the good old days, didn't he?
Yeah, I imagine he did. Yeah.
We had his youngest son on last week, Sam Williams. He just started his career off, and he jumped on with us for about 20 minutes.
Oh, cool! That's great. Yeah.
Last week, so well, I guess like you said, you're doing the I Travel On series, so we're here to talk about it. We're 2 days away from the new release, I Travel On. So, man, how pumped up are you? It was a quick turnaround from the last album.
Yeah, that was on purpose. We were out touring we toured the last album really heavy, probably the heaviest I've ever toured an album, and through the course of the year, through being out and playing so many shows, we started to kind of find a sound in this band that with all the players, I did something where instead of telling everybody what to play and what parts to play, I just let everybody be themselves, and everybody comes from pretty diverse musical backgrounds. We've got R&B guys and a jazz guy and a bluegrass guy. So, and so instead of reining all that in, we just kind of let everybody take off on their thing, and it turned into this really cool sound. We started calling it bluegrass, but it's just kind of this bluegrassy country groove thing, and we just really fucked up with that sound last year, and so I knew as soon as we stopped touring, I knew that I wanted to get that recorded. I wanted to get it down, and so I booked the studio without having any songs, and then so I left myself about 30 days to write the record. So I did. I wrote it all in about 30 days, and we went in and recorded it. And it's the first time I've ever used my live band on an album before, but I sure do love what they do.
Now there are 11 new tracks. Did you have a hand in writing all 11 of those tracks?
I did. This is the first time in a while that I usually put one or two that I didn't write on a record, but this is the first time I didn't. I wrote 7 of the 11 by myself, and then I had 2 co-writes with my wife Courtney, and then I co-write with Justin Wells, and I co-wrote the title track with Max Stalling. So it's a good little fun. I didn't have a lot of time to do a lot of co-writing. I was doing it all in 30 days, so I didn't really leave myself a lot of wiggle room there.
That really doesn't give you a lot of time to get somebody else on the line and say, hey, you got a few extra days to come write and sit and write.
Yeah, the two co-writes that I do have, Justin came down to Fort Worth and played a show with us, and stayed at the house that night, so we wrote the next day. And then Max, his wife Heather, is a fiddle player, great fiddle player, and she came down to play on Courtney's record. And while they were in the studio, Max and I just sat at the house and wrote that song. So both of those co-writes kind of happened. They just kind of fell into place. But yeah, it's the least amount of co-writing I've done in a long time.
I've tried to stay back. I've seen that the NPR posted the album in advance, for everybody to have a pre-listen.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm old school. I have downloaded the 4 tracks that are available, but I like to get it still on the day it comes out. I try to sometimes avoid even early releases just so I can get the album on the day of and just really dive into it all.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I get it. Yeah, I would. I'm thinking that NPR thing was really cool, though. It's just getting to do that. It's a pretty big honor. They don't do that a lot. And I'm an NPR fan, so
me too.
It was just when I found out they were doing that, I was really, really happy about it.
I did retweet it that way I can go back and watch it later, but I do that a lot. But I didn't want to look at it first. What song did you write with Justin?
It's called "Pretty When I Die."
Okay.
When you hear the record, it's definitely the most bluegrass song on the album. It's just a really, really fast bluegrass song, but the whole point of it is, living life to the fullest, and by leaving it all on the table, really would sum that up. It's just, when it's over, you should look ragged like you lived, and actually live the life instead of being careful all the time. So that was it, and it turned out to be a kind of a really quick bluegrass tune. We didn't write it that way, but that's how it turned out.
Yeah. Well, I believe in that kind of living myself. If anything, my 34 years has proven.
Right. Yeah, me too.
And which ones did you write with Courtney?
One of them is called "Now or Never."
Mm-hmm.
It's the second track on the record, and it's a song about kind of the same thing. It's just about now's the time. Do it now if you're going to do it. Don't wait around for the right time. And then we wrote one called "Below the Waterline," which is a bluegrass waltz that I've always wanted. I love bluegrass waltz, and I've always wanted to write one. So she and I finished that one up together. I wrote it. I started it. Was in Houston, and originally it was, or I wrote it. I started it about was Houston, and and then I ended up changing it just because I didn't be specific to one event. I wanted it to be more about things in general, but just just puts things in perspective about our place in the world. When those natural disasters hit, you realize real quick, how little control humans actually have at the end of the day. That's the other one we wrote.
I feel a little bit of a theme of carpe diem coming in through this. Is there been some kind of life event that we should know about in the last little bit?
No, but that is exactly right. That's definitely what it is. I'm in a good place. I don't have a lot to complain about, so it's tough to I try to write authentic songs. I try to make them come from a place of authenticity, and so that's where I am right now. So there's a lot of that. It's also a record about moving. That's why we called it "I Travel On." As soon as we wrote that song, I knew it would be the title. But every song on the record has something to do with moving from one place to another, whether it's physically. A lot of them have place names. You can see yourself physically moving through the song. Others, you move from from one headspace to another headspace. There's a song on there called "Always a Woman," and the first time you hear the chorus, it's a negative, and then by the end, you've traveled. You've moved to this place where the same exact words, but now they have the opposite meaning to them. But it's definitely. I very intentionally wanted to write a positive record. I've written a lot of negative, not negative, but just kind of sad downer songs over the years, and I just wanted to do something different this time. I wanted everything at the end of it, even if it starts off as a sad song or whatever. I wanted it to end on a positive note.
I see the growth personally in you. I started following you 6 years ago. I'm in a bar in Nashville at a Shooter Jennings, Jamie Johnson tribute to Waylon. It's I've covered this show. I've referenced this show many times. Looking back, knowing the show that I got for free in 2012 ended up being Shooter and Jamie with Sturgill Simpson, Whitey Morgan. Who else? It was a Whitey Morgan, Sturgill Simpson. There was another big name there. But anyway, I'm talking to Shooter by the bar, and I said, "Give me one name I can go home and download today." And he said, "Jason Eady's a bad mother."
Man, that's really cool.
And then Cody Canada said the same thing. I kind of asked Cody the same thing on Twitter, it seems like, one time, and he also threw your name up. So personally, I started checking out the music then, wishful drinking and those kind of tunes and this old Guitar and Me. So I did all the studying up on that, and to see the growth. And I think your website has just a phenomenal quote from you that you pretty well answered it pretty much when Lucas asked you that. But if you don't care for me to read it to our listeners here, it says, "When you first get started making music, your ideas are grandiose and more about the big picture. But the longer I've done this, the more I've realized that real joy comes from the process rather than the end goal. Now it's about getting better and finding more of myself with every album. So instead of writing what I think people want to hear, I'm writing what I want to write and trusting that as long as it's coming from an honest place, it'll hopefully mean something to the people listening."
Yeah.
I mean, that is you're there, man. I mean, I think you're having fun doing what you want to do. You're like I said, you're doing more upbeat stuff. You're writing and recording with your wife. You got respect from your peers. I mean, it's got to be a hell of a spot to be at right now for you.
It is. It really is. I mean, I've been doing this 13 years professionally, and this is the best it's ever felt. I mean, it just feels good. Everything about it feels good. I did quit chasing things. I realized on the last couple records that the songs people respond to more than any are they tend to be the more personal, the ones that I think when I'm writing them, I kind of think nobody's going to want to hear this. It's a very specific about me song, but at the end of the day, that's stuff that seems to resonate the most. And that was a very good lesson was a good lesson to learn because it freed me to just take that approach and just write and as long as I write the truth, and it speaks to that. If you write, if what you write is not authentic, it doesn't come from that place. I think people pick up on that, and I've just been trying to take that approach. But yeah, it's a great time. I mean, I've got a song on the record. It's called Happy Man, and it really talks about that. Talks about where I'm at in life, and just all the all the things that I have to be happy about. And at the end of the day, they're all very simple things. It's family, it's doing what you love for a living, it's traveling, it's just the good, the free things, the things that are right in front of you the whole time. But yeah, things are good.
That's great, man. I'm happy for you. And I can't wait for the release. I'm getting bombarded with all my favorite artists are putting music out at the same time, and I can't listen to it all at once.
Yeah, Shooters is coming out the same day, isn't it?
It is, and
same day as mine. Yeah, that sounds good.
And Shooters, all over the place with his music, and I really respect that because he's liable to do he's played somewhat country coming out of the chute, and he did his concept rock album, and he done some other stuff. He did the disco album, and this one he labels as his most Hank Jr. album.
Oh yeah,
and he released the DRUNK earlier, and to be as simple, it's I mean, there's not a lot of thought into a song called DRUNK, but it doesn't need to be, right? And every album needs at least one of those songs.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And Cody Canada and Cody Jinks also released new albums in July, so I've been busy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been a good year. It's a good time in music. It's probably the best time I can remember as far as new music coming out. I think people are starting to figure out this independent thing, and
yeah,
there was a window there when that shift being, because there was a time when you had to, if you weren't on a record label, you couldn't really get much going.
Yeah,
and then with the way the business has changed in the last 10 years, there's been a transition period, and everybody's had to kind of figure it out. And but now I think the wheels are really turning on that, and people are figuring out how to do it, and it's opened up a whole world of music. I mean, there's fantastic music being made right now. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as a fan of music, I've really been blown away these last couple of years by all the stuff that's coming out. It's been really good, real good quality stuff. It's really a cool time.
Yep. One of the most ignorant things you can hear is country music is dead, or there's no more good country music. Well, there's not. Yeah, right. If you only get on the radio, there's not. But
yeah.
Or there's the guys that and don't get me wrong, I'm George Jones, Merle Haggard, Waylon Jennings, Hank Jr. all day long. But let's move on with the times. And when you find your Jason Eadys and your Justin Wells and your Cody Jinks and your Tyler Childers and guys like that, the guys that I listen to. Man, it's country music is in a hell of a lot better spot today than it has been in several years, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. I think country music is very safe. If you limit it to what's on the mainstream radio, then you may have a different opinion. But there's a ton of music out there. And it's not on the radio, but it's out there and it's happening.
What changed? Do you think?
It's one of the best periods. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on you. What changed? I mean, how did it shift? I mean, is it just the?
Yeah, I think it's just a pendulum. I think it really has always done that. Really, if you think about it, it's always there's always been those periods in country music where it got more pop, and then it swung way back. There was that period in the early '80s where it was like Olivia Newton-John and people like that were they were the country stars, and she actually made great record stuff, but it wasn't country music necessarily. And it and then all of a sudden it swung back to George Strait, Randy Travis, and I think that there's a natural pendulum on that, but it's this time was the longest I've ever seen it stay on that pop side. It stayed there for a long time, and I just think the need for it was so great and I think people didn't quit making it. I think people have been making great country music the whole time. It's just a matter of we're just now all figuring out how to connect the music with the listener. There's always been listeners that want that kind of authentic country music, and there's always been people making it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just radio was the connector, and then when radio quit supporting people like that, then we had to find something else. And now it's social media and people sharing things.
Yeah, that's it.
And so the dots are getting connected again. It's just in a different place now, but it's there for sure. There's no. It's a great time.
Yes.
In music.
Even the Ryman has started doing an Americana series on Sunday evenings throughout the summer. I thought that was really neat to see. So it's coming around, and when you look back at it, and I remember like one of our earlier episodes here, I was talking about the music industry 10 to 15 years ago. I said, man, I thought Kenny Chesney was killing country music. I said, now Sam Hunt makes Kenny Chesney look like David Allan Coe.
Yeah, exactly.
Not to talk about.
I remember the same thing. I remember thinking when some of that stuff was happening, in the early 2000s, I thought, man, it can't get any further away, and it just keeps doing it. And I really don't want to be the guy that I know I wrote a song about it and all, but I really don't want to be the guy that's just out there to bash the mainstream guys.
Right.
It's not about that. It's those guys, they're obviously making music that people want to hear because people are buying the records and they're selling out in stadiums, and all of that. I don't begrudge anybody any of that. I mean, there's incredibly successful people that have connected with a lot of people, but it's not necessarily country music.
Right.
I just kind of wish they would maybe split the genre. If you think about it, really, country music is the only genre in music that hasn't split. That hasn't, in every other form, there's alternative rock and there's pop music, and there's different categories of that music. But country's just country, and I think if they just said this is pop country, this Americana country, whatever, if they were to do that, I think it would make things a lot easier because how do you do that? I mean, how do you make all those things the same? I don't know. I don't know how you put all those under one umbrella.
Yeah, when you talk to people, they're like, I can't stand country music because you're not hearing country music. You're not hearing country music right now. But I've always been in the belief that what you just said, there's room for everything. I'm not mad at those guys. And Sam Hunt was just a reference. Hey, in my opinion, there's worse than with him. He was just the name that I referenced, right? But
oh yeah.
But yeah, it's
definitely not country. I would definitely not call that country music. I'm not afraid to say that. I mean, I can't imagine any scenario where that's country music.
No.
I'm not saying it's bad music. It's just there's no way you can call that country music.
Yeah, you get one rap line in a song, and I don't think it's country anymore.
Yeah, look, I'm a Tennessee Titans season ticket holder, and I was at a meeting or an event, and they were announcing the New Jersey reveal. Like, well, hey, we're going to have a big party on Broadway, shutting the city down, Jersey reveal, and here to announce who's going to do our free concert. And they cut to a clip of Florida Georgia Line. And I said, man, you got to be shitting me. I said, I'm not going, man. And I didn't go.
Yeah. It's but like I said, I mean, I'm there's room for everything. I think there's obviously a movement going on on this side of things right now, and it's not getting the support of mainstream radio at all. I mean, Cody Jinks just had the second best country record in the country last week, behind Kenny Chesney's record, and all on his own, completely grassroots, completely. I mean, he just without any sort of industry support at all, and
that guy will melt your damn face off in concert too.
Yeah, we go way back. We used to play together in Fort Worth back in 2000 and probably 2005, 6, and I was playing open mic at this place called the White Elephant in Fort Worth, and Cody was the bartender at the White Elephant, and
wow.
kind of connected, and so we got ourselves a gig at a place called the Longhorn Saloon in Fort Worth, and we did that for about 6 months. We would play. I mean, if we had 5 people in there, we were thrilled. We were excited.
There's
I mean, and he's always been that worker. He just worked, and he's been out there ever since, just grassroots, and just one club at a time, one show at a time, one fan at a time, and now he's killing it. And that's a good thing to see.
He was at like 3rd and Lindsley 2 years ago. Then last October, I went to see him at the Ryman. He told a story. He's like, man, I knocked on every door in this town for 10 years. I got told no, and everybody started booing. He's like, nah, don't boo. He said, I just sold this mother out 2 nights in a row,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
That
was really cool to see.
It was. Then, Whitey Morgan's doing the same thing coming up. So one of my favorite videos of Cody, he's actually with Courtney and I think Daryl Dodd. There's a YouTube videos of that. I'm not real familiar with the Texas scene as much as I'd love to be, but those are some good performances by those 3 guys.
Yeah, I think they had a glass, and that video, Courtney. Somebody mentions that video with Courtney just about every night that I'm with her. Somebody will come up and talk about it. But I think they had a pretty good time that day.
We got the only time I've actually got to see you, it never fails anytime you're in Tennessee, and the same goes with Justin Wells. There's always something. Like he just announced this week he's going to be back in Nashville with a full band for the first time in how many ever years, and I've always got something going on where I can't catch you guys. Like you were in Memphis, I think, while I was on vacation this year, so I didn't get to come check that out. But the show I did get to see last year was the one in Lexington at Jeff Cox's house.
Yeah.
What's
yeah, that was fun. Yeah.
What is the? Do you enjoy those house shows, those private shows, or whatever? Do you enjoy those just as much as a big band show?
I enjoy doing both of them. If I had to do either one of those exclusively, I would get tired. It's mixing it up that I really love. I do love doing them. I really do. I mean, it's an intimate setting, and it's very much about lyrics and connecting people with songs. Where the band show, it can be, it's more of it's all of it. It's music, it's band, it's the. You don't necessarily have to listen to the words at a live show. You can still get something good out of it and get something from it. With those acoustic shows, it is about the song and the lyric. And I try to live on both sides of those. I try to live in both of those worlds. I really try to do both. I love both. I love both of them. And so, doing those house concerts, private shows, those kinds of things, doing those, throughout the year really keeps me grounded and keeps me centered on the songwriting, because I definitely am a songwriter first. That's what I love.
You've been doing it half your life, right? Since you started writing songs, 14?
Yeah, 14. Yeah. Well, I didn't write a good song until I was 30.
Yeah.
I wrote a lot of songs that were just me trying to basically rewrite something that was already on the radio. Just using all the words you're supposed to use and all the catchphrases and all that. I did that for a long time. I didn't know any different.
Well, see, you're saying you could have been on radio now doing that, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I just should have stuck with it. No, it was moving to Texas that really opened it up for me. There's just so many great writers. I'm doing this festival we're doing this weekend. Robert Earl King, one of the headliners, and man, he is just one of my. He changed the game for me when I got to Texas and heard him and saw that you could do that and be successful. That changed everything overnight. I just thought, okay, well, I didn't know that was an option, and so yeah. So then it freed me up to just do my thing, yeah, I wouldn't. But yeah, I've been writing a while, but like I said, I didn't really start what I consider real writing until I was about 30.
Well, I know that show last year. I mean, it was people that bought tickets that wanted to see you and Justin. But man, how cool was that? I mean, sitting I was sitting on my Orca cooler drinking beer in the corner, all by just listening to you guys on a bar stool for what 50 people is in that place.
Yeah. Yeah. Those things, they can be pretty magical. You can have some. I mean, that night was one of those. You just have those. It's just you can hear a pin drop in the room, and there's just a connection. There's a connection with the live show. There's definitely a feedback loop. There's definitely you go out as the artist and put it out there, and then you at some point the crowd gives it back to you, and when they give it back to you, it amps you up, puts you up on another level, and so you give more, and then they give more, and then it just becomes this loop, that just amps the whole thing up, and by the end the night's just magic, and those are the best when that cycle locks in. That's when the magic happens, and a lot of those private shows, house concerts, because people are there because they're there for that reason. They're not there for a party, or they're not there for the whatever may take somebody to a concert. Other reasons. They're there to hear those songs and to watch you play them, and it can be pretty magical.
You never had a Jamie Johnson, any of those boys, have you? Those concerts then? Did you hear about
that
Did you hear the Jamie Johnson incident from last week?
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
You ever took your belt off to one of your fans?
I never have. It's funny to me that when Jamie Johnson says the whip somebody's ass, I guess that's a real. You literally means that.
Everybody just thought he was kidding.
Yeah. Yeah. It didn't surprise me when I read it.
No.
Yeah.
I can't believe in this day and age, like, nobody has that on video.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I guess it shocked the hell out of people that were watching it. They're like, "Is this real?" I guess.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair,
story though.
Yeah, to be fair, Jamie Johnson don't really do a whole lot of stuff that you need a camera for whenever you're when he's up there performing. So most people probably didn't have the camera out.
I love Jamie. Jamie's one of my favorite guys watching live.
He ain't bouncing anywhere, so nobody's trying to keep up with him on the camera.
Yeah, I love his shows. I've gotten to play with him time. His shows are. What I love about his shows, you never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Night to night, it's kind of whatever mood he's in is the show you get, and
Man,
that's really cool to me.
That's a very true statement. I mean, there's sometimes he's very mellowed out, and sometimes he'll rock it up a little bit more. So it just, like you said, it depends on the mood. But
yeah, I feel like you go see 5 Jamie Johnson shows in a row and get 5 completely different versions of the show, and that's a very cool thing.
Yeah, and it's worth it, for spending your money, because I know I see a very eclectic group of different people, but like the same Kid Rock show that I've seen has been the same show the last 3 times, and Hank Jr., I can almost say verbatim what he's going to be saying. I mean, but Hank's 68, I guess he's earned it if he wants to do the exact same show night after night. But
yeah, there's a balance. There's definitely I get both sides of it. When with us out here doing it, if you do the same show, you can get really, really good at it, and it can get dialed in where it is rock solid as the show can be. But at the same time, we've got to keep it interesting, one, for us, so that we don't just get where we're just going through the motions every night, and 2, for if the crowd, if somebody comes and sees 2 shows, you don't want to give them the exact same show. So that's an interesting thing about touring, is finding that balance. We kind of do a blended. We have some things that we do the same every night, and then we leave a section where we can change it up and throw in some things night to night. So we try to do both, a little bit of both. But it's really hard. I'm not a big fan of writing set lists. So I don't. When I was back in the day, when I was every night just winging it, it takes my head out of it. It gets me out of it. If I'm singing a song and I'm wondering what song I'm going to do next, that's not a good feeling. It takes me out of it. And so, I think that comes across on stage. And so, the more you have things, where you've got a show dialed in, then better that show's going to be. But there has to be a balance with that.
You still do a lot of covers. I mean, I know you got so much content out there now. Do you still cover some of your?
No, I don't, and that's kind of why this little video series we're doing has been so much fun because we're just doing covers. You know, that video thing we're talking about where we pull over on the side of the road and song. We're only doing covers on that, and that's been I used to hate doing them when I had to. You know, when I played and I wanted to do mine, and everybody just wanted to hear covers. I hated doing them, and then now now I like doing them, but now we have I got 7 records out, and so we got songs, and so no, we don't. I probably do 2 in a night now, 2 or 3.
Yeah, that show at Lexington. You did the album, you did the entire album there last year. Then you took requests, and man, there wasn't any shortages in that crowd of people. I didn't think you were ever getting out of there that night.
It's cool. It's cool to have have that much of a history, to be able to do that, because there was years, you're just trying to fill time and come up with have enough material, and but it's just it's just like I said, it's just a matter of 7 records, and people, I absolutely, I love the fan base that I have. I just love them, because there's no reason for anybody to be there other than they heard music and liked it. There's no other reason. There's not. It's not. I've never been the cool guy. I've never been the star, the big, the guy. I've never been that. It's never been a reason. So everybody that's there, they just heard music at some point, and so they're just it's a great fan base, and I feel really lucky to have the fans that I do. It feels weird saying fans, by the way. It always has. Listeners, I guess. I don't know how to say it, but yeah.
That's funny. So I got 2 quick questions for you, and they may not be quick, but so with all the traveling around and songwriting and everything that you do, who's one artist or singer or songwriter that people may not know about that you've come across that they're going to wind up needing to hear?
Oh, John Bauman. With 2 N's, Baumann, and he just got a cut on Kenny Chesney's new record. Got a song of his that he wrote. He got a cut on there, and it's a great song called Gulf Moon, and I just think I'm a fan of his. I listen to him all the time, and he's a great guy, great writer, really different. It's that nice blend of sounding familiar, but it's his own spin on it. I think he's one of the best. Him, Red Shahan is doing some great things right now. There's a guy named Eric Willis that's doing some really, really cool, innovative stuff with his record. Yeah, there's great music. This time last year, I looked at Brent Cobb, but kind of blown up. Now everybody knows who that is.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a lot of those guys, but yeah, John Bauman is. I think he's really onto something.
I'll check him out. My ink pen was going faster than my mind could keep up with her. Second question is, you're in a good place right now. I just the way you're talking and stuff, and you were before too. But I mean, it seem like you're in a unique place right now. What's one piece of advice that you would give to a young artist that you wish you'd been given when you started, or now looking back that you wished you'd have?
Yeah, it's exactly what we've been talking about. I wish I had figured out a long time ago that all I had to do was just be myself and write what I wanted to hear and write what I wanted to say. I wish I had figured that out a long time ago. I've always done it to a sense, but there's always been in those first couple records, and those early years, there was definitely a part of me that would make certain compromises on records because this would get it on radio, or this would make the industry pay attention, or whatever, and it never worked. It never did what I expected it to do, and those songs really didn't. The ones I did that to really didn't do anything. So that's exactly I do try to tell people when they ask me, but that just find your voice, find your sound and you, and don't try to be what's happening. By the time you start chasing what's already happening, it's over. I mean, that's already happened. The reason those guys are big is because they were the first ones doing it. If you jump on the bandwagon and try to copy what the big thing is right now, by the time you build a base, and you've missed the boat. So you just got to do your own thing and carve your own path and be your own artist and say your own words, and and just trust the it feels good to you that's art. That's what it is. Like, that's what it's all about, is expressing yourself. So that's exactly what I would say.
It's a great answer. I wanted to give you a little feedback from our last interview. We said we're all over the place on this show, and it hurts us probably in the long run. Maybe it hurts us a little bit because we might have a sports person on one week to interview. We might have our buddy from down the street that goes out to the bar, and it's funny as hell one week. But when we get to do these interviews with guys like you, it really, it helps when you if you'll share it afterwards for your listeners to get to.
Mm-hmm.
But we have a Twitter page, RD Country, that follows us, that I know shares a lot of your stuff. And man, he just, as soon as I told him, he was, I don't know what the guy looks like if he walked in the room, right? He's down in Texas and he's got a Twitter page and he's got several followers, but he was like, man, hands down, the Jason Eady, before you guys took the break, he said the absolute best interview. So that guy is awesome.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of feedback about that. Said, did y'all know him before that or anything like that? Just because you're just so open and honest, during that first interview, and that's probably the one I got the most feedback about any.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's the same idea as songwriting, because I used to I hated doing interviews. I mean, I really
Right.
I dreaded them because again, I thought it was there were these things you're supposed to say and this voice you're supposed to have, and you're supposed to play this part, and again, for me, I enjoy the interview more. Just I love y'all's format. I love just when it becomes a conversation, then that's the best. That's exactly what it is.
Long form's definitely a lot better than getting those 5 to 7 minute blurbs out and then somebody cherry picking the shit out of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We were self-taught. We're not trained. We didn't go to school to do this.
Believe it or not.
It's just fun for us to do. Two funny stories though that, like I said, I will beat people to death about. I don't know why I'm not your manager on the side or some marketing guys for you or Justin Wells. But all seriousness, I believe in you guys' music. I love it. I still think if I want to put on just a real album, I put on you. If I want to hear a modern day heartbreak song, I put on Justin Wells, and it's just and so I've shared it to everybody. And this guy was talking about. He said, "Man, I miss AM." I was working with a guy. He said, "I miss hearing songs on AM radio." And I said, "Oh, really?" I said, "It's almost like we're living in AM country heaven, FM country hell." He goes, "Holy shit, that's a good line." I was like, "Because it's a song." And he had a guy play it on his radio show. He's like, "I know a guy that runs a radio show. I'm gonna have him play that song. It's awesome." And then, so you were spinning down here on Smith County, Tennessee, somewhere. And another guy his name is a buddy of ours, Chris Raines. He plays music locally and all around Tennessee, really. And I keep telling him, he's like, "Man, what's that guy you keep telling me about?" I was like, "Damn it, Jason Eady for the last time." And he come back and he texts me. We're talking. He played a little local show here Saturday night. And I went and checked him out. And so Sunday he's texting me. He's like, "Oh my God." He's like, "Why have you never told me about this guy before?" I said, "Are you kidding?" I said, "I've been telling you since 2012. He's like, "Oh my God." He's like, this is great. He said, "I'm covering it." He's like, "When you talk to him, tell him I'm covering him from now on."
All right. Yeah.
I mean,
the music business, it really is like that. I guess any sort of marketing, it really is repetition. I mean, think about how many times have you ever heard somebody's name one time and remembered it and went, it's a very much a getting your name in front of people a lot, instead of that one big thing. It's more just, over and over and over again to get people to listen. That's the nature of, we've got short attention spans now. with so much coming at us all the time that you really have to just stay in front of people to get to get through the noise out there. There's a lot going on, but yeah, it's good. I'm glad you're doing that. I appreciate it.
There's one thing that definitely yesterday was a first for the history of this podcast. Not saying we hadn't had great guests, because I mean anybody that's nice enough to take time out of their schedule, like you are right now on the road, and I promise we'll let you go in just a second. I appreciate them doing it first and foremost. But you set the bar yesterday, because you text me and said and reminded me, told me to remind you. I promise you're the first musician, because most time it's hard to hunt these cats down. So I appreciate you.
The road is the road's a different world. You get out. I'm very organized and very on top of it when I'm sitting at home. But when you get out on the road, that's a whole different animal. And yeah, I appreciate you understanding, because I do need a reminder. I need somebody to nudge me when we're on the road. Go, hey, you're supposed to do this. But I definitely wanted to. When you asked about it, I have such a great time doing the last one, and I love y'all's format. So yeah, I'm just really glad that this worked out.
I appreciate that, because there's been times we've been 20 minutes before airtime. I'm like, holy crap, is he going to text me back? Like, I've got all these questions. Are we going to use them tonight or not? So for you to be a day ahead of the game, that was awesome. But so. Well, to wrap it up, you're on the road the rest of the year. I mean, you got a Germany and UK tour in October, and
you're hitting Oktoberfest is what you was doing, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. They don't think I had thought about that. I'm definitely planning on that. Yeah, I'm doing about 5 weeks in Europe this year, which will be the longest I've ever spent over there. But and the first time I've ever done the UK. I lived in the UK when I was in the Air Force. I was stationed there, but I've never been there as a musician. Never played there, so that'll be a cool going back for me.
Huh? We were just talking right before we started that we had some like rogue listeners over in Europe. You may be what happened there. we had
cool.
We had like 4 from France, 1 from Moldova, and 1 from Vietnam, and a couple from Australia. And hell, that may have been all your people.
I don't know about the France. Maybe we played a couple festivals over there. I've never. I don't know. Maybe Vietnam. I don't know. I know there's a big country music scene in Vietnam, but that's cool.
Yeah.
I still don't know what the hell Moldova is. I don't know if I should be flattered or not.
No, that's great, man. I mean. There's fans of this music. There's music all over the world, and we've seen it. Courtney and I have gone to Europe for the last five years, and I mean they are incredibly receptive to it. It's they love it, and so it's spreading. The word's getting out there, and when you talk to them, when you go over there and talk to those people that come to those shows, they're aware of the whole thing. They're not just a fan of you being there. They're a fan. They know the scene. They know who's who and what's going on. So, it's not just here. It's spreading out, which is really cool.
That's awesome. Well, locally, like I said, we're here in Tennessee, and we're halfway between Nashville and Knoxville. And you've got a show coming up in Knoxville in September. Tell our listeners real quick where they can catch you at on the road.
Yeah. Oh man. Man, I mean, we're doing so much this summer. I don't really know.
I'll cover it. I think you told me it was Maple Hall.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sorry, man. We're right in the middle of.
Sorry.
I mean, we're playing. This whole month of August, we've got 26 shows out of the 31 days, and so I'm lucky to know where I am tomorrow night.
Right. Yeah, I put you on the spot. I'm sorry about that, but.
Oh no, that's cool. I know we're coming. I know we're going there in September, and we're doing a southeast. We're doing a southeast run, and I know we're playing Atlanta, and coming over to Knoxville, and then down to Jackson, Mississippi, another hometown show for me, and then down to Mobile and New Orleans. So yeah, that's gonna be a good run. We always have a great time in that part of the country.
I had other ideas for that Knoxville date, but since you're in Knoxville, I may try to get over to that show, and hopefully what you and I talked about, we can revisit that towards the end of the year or maybe the first part of next year, because I got a lot of good feedback from that. So
yeah, I'd love to. Absolutely.
All right, man. Well, hey, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. And again, that's I Travel On. It's available August 10th everywhere wherever you download your music from. Buy the vinyl. JasonEady.com. You can plug your website. You got some good bundles going on there.
Yeah. It's you can get it. Get that record in all the spots. And hey, I also want to mention. I want to make sure that there's two people I'll make sure get a credit on this too, and that's I said we use our road band for this record, and that's and that's the guys that I travel with all the time, but when we went in, and because we wanted to do this record, because we wanted to do it live, that we really wanted it to be a live record where everything happened, at one time. We didn't want to use studio tricks. We went back and overdubbed parts and did that thing. We really wanted what you hear on this record. When you hear a song start to finish, that's the way we played it. There was nothing. We didn't change anything. We didn't fix anything. We didn't do any of those things. But in order to do that, we had to have a couple more players. And so we grabbed this. We've been listening last year on the road to this bluegrass duo, Rob Ike and Trey Hensley. And Rob is one of the best. He's the most nominated bluegrass musician in the history of bluegrass. He's just fantastic. I mean, one of the world-class dobro players. And Trey is a savant on the guitar, just phenomenal guitar player and one of the best country singers I've ever heard. And they've got a lot of cool things going on. They're doing some really cool stuff in music. And so we were fans of their record. And so when it got time to make this, I just called them and asked if they wanted to do it, and they said yes. And so that's what the record is. It's us. It's 4 of us, and then those 2 guys. And so I want to make sure everybody realizes that they are on that record, and they added so much. It was a real honor for me to have them, for them to say yes, to come in and do it, because like I said, we're all fans of them. So to have them on the record is a really cool thing. So I just want to make sure that they get the credit on that.
That's awesome, man. Well, all right, well, hey, we do appreciate all the time. I promise I didn't mean to keep you in a van
for an hour.
for an hour.
You're good. You're good.
Hey, plug your social media before you get off here.
Yeah. It's Jason Eady. I think it's Jason Eady on everything. Facebook. I think it's Jason Eady Music on Facebook, and then Jason Eady on everything else, Instagram, Twitter. I think those are the big ones. Yeah. And follow us on all of them. We try to do a little bit different stuff on all of them. So
cool.
Go find us.
Awesome, man. Thanks for being on. You never disappoint. Fantastic interview. We'll get this out there and hopefully get you some more listeners, buddy. You deserve it for sure.
Well, I appreciate it. I really do. I mean, this is how it works. This is what it's all about. So I really appreciate y'all, what you're doing, and like I said, the format you got is really cool. It's my favorite kind of interview to do. So I appreciate y'all having me on.
All right,
just hang out for a second. We'll talk to you off air.
All right.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it, man. That's what this job right here, this gig, this
that
hobby,
makes that makes me happy.
That's what it's all about, man.
Oh man, Jason Eady's such a good guy.
He's the best.
Yeah, I don't feel like we deserve to have him on anymore. I don't think we need to take any more of his time.
That was a long time. He's sitting in a hot ass van in the middle of Boise, Idaho,
just sitting there talking to 2 knuckleheads in Tennessee.
Appreciate it. And,
for damn sure.
Glad. I hope all the Jason Eady fans appreciate that, because man, he ain't got to do that for us like we said on the first time, and for him to give us an hour, pretty much.
Yeah.
And like you just said off air, all you got to do is just
get out of his way. Just give him a question, and he is so open that he will just run. That just makes the interview so easy whenever the guy on the other side knows how to do it. For somebody to say that they didn't used to like to do it, he's awful damn good at it.
It's pretty funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't mention it to him or even mention it off air, but, remember last time I asked him if he was selling bootlegs of his original albums out of a trunk because they were so high on Amazon?
Yeah.
Just for kind of shits and giggles today, I looked it up, and When the Money's All Gone, $32. Wild Eyed Serenade, $30, and from the Underneath the Old, $46 on Amazon today.
That's probably him slinging them old CDs.
I'm not as familiar with those 3 albums as I am with his later stuff. From the kind of stuff when Shooter and Cody Canada was telling me about it, referencing him, and but I mean that shows he's kind of made it, right? When 6 years ago people were giving us that one name, who's that one name, and he gave us those names. So
you know what I think's neat is that he went from doing covers to people covering him. Rain's going to cover him some. That's a neat place to be in, I'd say.
I give him like 6 songs. I told Rains, he's like, oh God.
Yeah.
And if Chris Rains, let me tell you something. Chris Rains is one of my favorite people.
And if he says it's good, it's good.
Yeah. Because there's one thing about Chris. There was one time he's like, oh, he does this, he does that. And I'm like, damn, do you like anybody, Chris? Because musically.
Yeah.
But as a musician, when he
hears it different.
He hears it different.
Yeah.
He's like Chris said, I don't even enjoy going to the concerts sometimes because I'm sitting there
critiquing.
Watching. He's watching him and Brad both. They watch how they're playing this and how they're playing that and how the vocals are sounding.
Yeah. Rains ruined Jason Isbell for me. When he played him down here at our show in the park that time, just killed it. Just killed Jason Isbell's song.
Chris is great.
Cover Me Up, and then I've not been able to listen to it the same since.
Chris has got a wide range of variety of stuff. I mean, he done an Ashley McBride song the other day at the Spot. I mean, he covered Ashley McBride.
Yeah.
Chris can do anything, man.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
Yeah, me too. Anyway, Jason Eady, thank you so much, Jason Eady. We're going to make this one stand alone. We're going to kind of cut some of the BS out of the end of this, and because that was just such a good interview. Yeah,
I would hate to take this interview and tell you what about my wife being like last week we just ran. Listen, guys that are new to the episode, I rambled about my wife buying generic Oreos last week. You guys don't want to hear that.
We got about 10 or 15 minutes of that in last week, and we do some sports every now and again, but we're going to cut that out of this one. Just let this stand alone. So, thank you, Jason. Fantastic interview.
And any guys, like I said, any of you guys that want to go back and listen, we're on iTunes, we're on Stitcher, we're on YouTube. YouTube is just the audio with our logo. So if you prefer to listen to it,
we're working
check us out, man.
Maybe doing a video on there. Definitely, if you like this Jason Eady, go back and pick up the last Jason Eady interview too. That one was just as good as this one. There's some other good artists on there as well that you may or may not have heard of.
We've got Cody Canada, Josh Morningstar, Justin Wells.
Mike DeMeza in there doing live in the studio. That was a really good one too.
Chris Stalkup was one of our past episodes. So we've had some great musicians. So go back and check our archives out. We're the One Lane Road Podcast, Lucas and DK. So thank you for our old listeners. Thank you for our new listeners, and we hope you appreciate it. Once again, that's Jason Eady. I Travel On, August 10th, and
go get it.
Go get it.
All right, everybody. Thank you.